A faint flicker of static danced across the monitor, casting erratic patterns of light onto the walls of the mission control room. The scientists and engineers of the Alpha Prime project stood motionless, their collective breath held as they stared at the screen. This was their last hope, their final chance to hear from the colony that had once been humanity's boldest experiment. Alpha Prime was a beacon of promise, a new home on the edge of known space. And now it was silent. Dr. Elena Radcliffe, the lead communications officer, leaned forward, her fingers hovering over the console's controls. Her eyes scanned the faint signal trace, looking for any hint that it was more than just noise. The room was so quiet that the faint hum of the equipment seemed deafening. "Do we have anything yet?" she asked, her voice tense. No one responded. Instead, all eyes turned toward the corner of the room, where Commander Marcus Dane stood with his arms crossed, his expression unreadable. "Keep monitoring," Dane finally said. His voice was calm, but his words carried the weight of authority. "If there's any chance a message got through, we need to find it." The team resumed their work, hands flying over keyboards, adjustments being made to the receivers and antennas. Alpha Prime was 27 light-years away, so far that even a simple greeting would take decades to travel. But that hadn't stopped the crew of the colonial vessel Horizon from making the journey. And it hadn't stopped Earth from establishing a communication link, one designed to span the gulf between planets and keep humanity connected. That link, however, had been silent for years. 3 decades ago, Horizon had touched down on a distant, Earth-like world. The colony was named Alpha Prime, a symbol of humanity's resilience and ingenuity. At first, the updates were regular, even celebratory. The colonists reported back on their progress, describing lush forests, towering mountain ranges, and vast oceans teeming with strange, bioluminescent life. Their enthusiasm was infectious. The reports painted a picture of a thriving new world, one that was a testament to the human spirit. Then the messages changed. The reports became less frequent, their tone more subdued. There were mentions of equipment malfunctions, strange weather patterns, and unexpected illness. The scientists on Earth offered guidance, sent supplies via unmanned cargo drones, and maintained an unwavering belief that the colonists would overcome their challenges. But one day, the messages stopped altogether. The last transmission was fragmented, filled with static and punctuated by a single, haunting phrase. "Do not send anyone else." Years passed. Earth's priorities shifted, and the Alpha Prime project faded into the background. Other missions took precedence, and soon Alpha Prime was relegated to a cautionary tale, an example of how even the best-laid plans could go wrong. But a small team of dedicated scientists never stopped listening. They believed that somewhere out there, Alpha Prime might still be alive, that its people might still be waiting. And tonight, a faint signal had returned. Elena, one of the technicians, called out, his voice cutting through the quiet. "I think I've got something." Elena rushed over, her heart pounding. On the screen, a jagged line of data appeared, pulsing faintly against the black background. It was weak, barely registering above the noise floor, but it was there. "Boost the gain," she said quickly. The technician adjusted the controls, and the signal grew stronger. A pattern emerged, faint but unmistakable. "It's a carrier wave," Elena said, her voice barely a whisper. They're trying to send something. Dane moved closer, his shadow falling over the console. Can you decode it? Elena nodded, her fingers flying across the keyboard. I'll do my best. The room was silent again as the team watched her work. Slowly, the signal resolved into something intelligible. At first, it was just a string of numbers, but then a fragment of text appeared on the screen. Prime is compromised, repeating, Alpha Prime is compromised. Do not send. The rest was lost to static. The weight of those words settled over the room like a shroud. Elena's hands hovered over the keyboard, her mind racing. What had happened to the colony? What did compromised mean? And why had it taken so long for them to hear from Alpha Prime again? Dane broke the silence. We need to know more. Try to stabilize the signal and see if you can pull any additional data. Elena nodded, but her chest tightened with unease. The message felt like a warning, like something terrible had befallen the colony. She adjusted the parameters, working quickly, her gaze fixed on the screen. More fragments appeared. Unknown entity repeating. Unknown entity present. Extreme caution. This is the last message. And then silence. The signal disappeared, leaving only the faint hiss of background noise. Elena sat back, her hands trembling. That's all we've got, she said softly. Dane exhaled slowly. We need to analyze every bit of that data. Run it through every filter, every decryption algorithm. If this really is Alpha Prime's final message, it's our responsibility to understand it. The team worked through the night, dissecting the transmission down to its smallest components. They tried to piece together the fragments, searching for clues about what had gone wrong. Was it a natural disaster? A catastrophic failure of the colony's infrastructure? Or was it something else? Something that defied explanation? As the hours passed, the tension in the room grew. Every piece of data they uncovered only deepened the mystery. The reference to an unknown entity was particularly troubling. The colonists had been thoroughly trained, prepared for any conceivable challenge. They were scientists, engineers, and explorers, the best humanity had to offer. What could have been so alien, so unexpected, that it forced them to abandon all hope? By dawn, the team had exhausted their options. The message, fragmented as it was, refused to yield any more answers. Elena stared at the screen, her thoughts a whirlwind of questions. She couldn't shake the feeling that Alpha Prime's story wasn't over. Not yet. Dane approached her, his expression somber. We'll need to present this to the council. They'll decide what to do next. Elena nodded, though she wasn't sure what she wanted the council to decide. Part of her longed to see Alpha Prime with her own eyes, to uncover the truth and continue the dream of a new world. But another part of her, the part that couldn't forget the warning in the message, feared what they might find. As the sun rose over Earth, casting its light on the city outside, the Alpha Prime team faced a moment of reckoning. They had received the last message from humanity's farthest colony, and the weight of that message would change the course of human history forever.